Join us as we explore some of New York's best architectural and interiors projects.
New York architecture is world-renowned. In this series, we highlight and celebrate that magnificent work.
Welcome to New York by Design Architecture.
We've gathered a diverse group of design industry leaders at 277 Fifth Avenue Panoramic Penthouse in the Sky to judge which architectural projects will go through to the final to ultimately be crowned this season's winner.
Being a judge in the show is really fun. Coming together with an incredible group of design thinkers and colleagues was great.
I love the diversity of viewpoints at the table.
To have people show up with different perspectives actually is enlightening.
But yet I feel like we're all very good at what we do and we can weigh in with real expertise.
Let's get started with a look at our first project.
Central Park Tower was a fabulous project with a waterfall, custom designed, lighting.
It's got wonderful ensembles of materials. It's got an incredible tactility to it that makes you feel just spoiled when you go in.
I like the spaces that have a lot of reflectivity. I mean, water, light fixtures, very sleek, very sophisticated.
That dramatic black and white patterning and the glitz and glam of what was going on with the light fixtures chosen, what I would think of as like iconic, classic New York interior design.
Welcome to Billionaires Row in New York City. Just down the street is 432 Park Avenue. Used to be the world's tallest residential tower until this guy came along, Central Park Tower. But it's not the exterior I'm interested in. There's an intriguing interior story to be told. Lauren, what a wonderful project.
Well, welcome.
Tell me, how did you get the gig?
Well, interesting story. We do a lot of work for very high profile clients, and I think they knew some of them and had seen the work, and so they actually called us. They reached out to us.
And Lauren, I noticed coming in from the street, there's a wonderful transition.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite parts. So Adrian Smith, who is actually the architect of the building, he was one of my first bosses in Chicago at SOM. And I asked him, what would you want to see brought in from the outside of the building? And he said, well, I'm doing these glass fins. And I thought, well, that's beautiful. I love the idea of reflectivity. And then that reminded me of water. So that's when I created the water wall to calm you as you come in from the streets, transition you, you're relaxed, you're home.
And then it opens into this larger lobby that has a sort of Art Deco flavor?
Okay, a little bit. So as a kid, I was in and out of those beautiful buildings in Rockefeller Center. So what I loved about those and what I tried to do here was the beautiful proportions. So it's very elegant in that sense. It's taller than it is wide. And then also the fact that those buildings in Deco, everything was custom for the building, and that's the way this is. So it's all very uniquely designed to go with just this lobby.
Lauren, the centerpiece of the lobby, what's the inspiration?
Well, we wanted more than just a chandelier. We really wanted something that was part of the architecture. We actually worked with the Lalique, the French crystal company. And so each of the crystals were designed to go specifically with this building. And then the chains were also designed specifically for this. So it's a completely bespoke, unique piece. It's really a part of the overall space. You see the reflection in the wood behind you and in front of you and along the glass. And it really completes the architectural story of the lobby. So this is one of a number of amenity floors for the residents of Central Park Tower. This is the 14th floor and it connects to a beautiful outdoor garden, a pool, private cooking area. And we're standing in the owner's living room and it's divided by this divider that separates to the owner's lounge. Architecturally, it's a series of vertical steel panels that are connected to the ceiling and to the floor to keep it rigid. And then of course it's clad in the same wood as in the lobby.
So Lauren, beautiful divider, and over here, this magnificent doorway and proscenium. What's behind there?
Well, what's usually behind a proscenium? It's a stage, of course. That's our theater. It's a 25-person theater on raised tiers, completely acoustically perfect. It's really just kind of one of those things to make this home a very special home. And really it's about fun and it's about entertainment and a whole lifestyle of how you can live in this beautiful space. And this is one of the apartments. There's two on this floor. And one, this is James. James and I designed this together.
Oh my goodness. I think this is kind of a unique view in New York where you have this bird's eye view of the park and the whole grid of the city kind of surrounding it. You can kind of see how the natural elements influence like the design of our marble, and the tables, the upholstery and the furniture. It's a very calming influence. And the screen over here actually has a kind of subtle reference to the skyline of New York. You can see dancing at the top.
And not completely reflective.
No, we wanted something not too distracting, but you got a little bit of a hint of the city kind of reflecting in it.
And what I love about this apartment is that morning or night or evening or bright sunshine, the light changes. So we use this dichroic table, which is a part of our line, because it changes colors as the light hits. Right now it's kind of green. A few moments ago it was purple. So it's all about the dancing of the light from outside to inside. So you're really living in the park, up in the sky.
Facing south here, you see all of Manhattan and New York's most iconic structures like the Empire State Building, World Trade Center. In the distance, you can see the Statue of Liberty. And if we were here on New Year's, you'd see the ball drop just down there in Times Square.
It's an insane view, and the lights of Times Square, and then you have your interior lights that reflect out to the world.
Well, exactly. As architects and designers, that's what we try to do. We take a look at outside and look at the colors and the shapes of the building and the composition, and we bring it into our design. And so it's really this constant evolving dialogue between outside and inside, almost as one. So like in all good homes, you end up in the kitchen, and this one is generously large. Nice spacious kitchen, lovely breakfast room or dining area across from it, and then it opens into one of my favorite rooms of the house, the study.
Yeah, I noticed that direct connection to the study, very good.
The lights in the study come up as the lights in the city go down, so it becomes your own interior environment at night. And we used a lot of leather in there because leather is a very soft material that makes people feel comfortable. And you would think that's a bit of an odd material to use for cabinets, but it's actually quite durable and it absorbs sound. And it's important in a room like that to absorb the sound because you want it to be quiet. You want it to be your quiet space.
So Lauren, you design for a lot of famous people. Are you able to share some names with us?
No, I can't really share the names, but I can tell you how we design for them. They want to know that what they are buying and what they're owning will last forever and it will be classic. So an incredibly durable stone. Cabinets that have a really strong resin on them, and then these pulls. They're not just small little pulls that could ever come off. They're custom designed, they're stainless steel cast. So it's not just how it looks, it's how well it's built and how well it's going to hold up, but it will always hold up. It will always look just as beautiful as the day they bought it.
The thing I love about the 18th Street Triplex is that it puts the user at the center. And what I mean is that the homeowner's vision for how they want to live, how they want to use the space came to life beautifully.
It's an apartment, but it feels like a house. It's quiet, it's calm. They've created an incredible home in what could have been just a few apartments that are strung together in a building.
What Manhattan does best is high-rises and apartments. But not all apartments are custom designed or as thoughtful as this one. Hillary, Drew.
Hey.
Welcome, Mike. Well, thank you. Right off the bat, I'd like to say this appears to me like a classic ink project.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's definitely one of our best.
Was there a main inspiration you were going with here?
Well, at Ink, we like to design around our clients. So on this specific project, the owner was a collector of women artists, their works. So she wanted her home to be a showcase of them. We kind of saw it as a narrative of feminine, organic modernism.
Feminine, organic modernism.
I mean, this is not the modernism of 50 years ago or 100 years ago. This is really about something that is current. You know, we have curves and, you know, everything kind of tips towards natural.
Well, should we take a look around?
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's start downstairs.
Okay. So Hillary, this is where the story starts.
Yeah, exactly. The owners actually initially just owned this flat, the 7th floor, and they, there was, you know, it used to be a kitchen like right here, and this was a kind of combined kitchen and living room with the bedrooms tucked behind. And as their family grew, they had a couple kids. The unit above them, which is 2 floors, penthouse unit, became available, so they purchased that and hired us to combine the two.
And now it looks like it's a kid's den?
Yeah. So, this is for video game playing, family movie nights. It's all the kids' kind of hangout space. The kids' bedrooms are on this floor. They even have their own entrance where they can come in after school. So you can totally just exist down on this level. So very convenient in that sense.
And so one floor became 3 floors. We're going to need a staircase.
Exactly, yeah. So this staircase got added in, completely new floor opening, new structural opening, new stairs. So a lot of, going back and forth with the building, engineering and so forth to get this in, but here it is.
Drew, this staircase really is a piece of art working its way through the home.
Yeah, it was a real feat to make this happen. We're both working with this narrative of a carved solid and bringing it up through the space and allowing it to open up and become more porous and filter more light and air down into the home. And then also cladding it in this sort of mother of pearl opalescent finish that again increases its reflectivity. But then, it's a natural finish, right? You're getting this sort of natural effect in the finish of the plaster.
And I bet there's quite the structural feat going on here. Did you need this surrounding piece here?
Yeah, with all things modern, to make things disappear, you have miraculous things happening behind the walls. So not only do we have, big pieces of structure behind the walls, but everything you see here, from the stair treads to the glass railings to this handrail, it's all acting together to act as a single structural element.
Oh, really? So although this is marvelous in appearance, it's actually doing a lot of the heavy lifting structurally.
It really is. So here we are at the top. Essentially we're in a glass box at the top of a building.
I guess this was not always like this.
No, we had much smaller windows that we completely blew out. This is one of the single largest pieces of glass I've installed in a home.
And the headboard here, it looks like it's all one piece.
Yeah, as you can imagine, as we step up to get here, we have less and less space. So we needed a piece that would function as both the vanities for the owners and closets.
Ah, okay. So this was all custom made?
Yeah, all custom.
And of course, this middle floor is the main game.
Yeah, it's definitely the heart of their home. It's their primary living space. We've got the parents' bedrooms upstairs and the kids down below, and then they kind of all meet on this floor.
So I think it's apparent that, the feminine organic modernism really didn't stop at the architectural detail level, that we really carried it through all the different levels of this home.
Yeah, like for example, this pair of chairs by Kirsten Herlin Holmquist, the female designer, or also this fabulous painting by Eva Juskowitz.
Isn't it just fantastic? So Hilary, Drew, at this level, you're talking about everything. Everything being custom designed.
Yeah, look, when you take an endeavor like this, if you leave something out, it feels forgotten in its overall composition.
The hinges, the handles.
Yeah, all custom designed by us, down to the alabaster faucets in the powder room.
Oh yes, I saw those. It's a great job, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is listening to your client. It's inviting artist Rebecca Menendez in to install this piece. This is feminine organic modernism all the way.
In this series, we're introducing 3 new awards. The Air, Light, and View Award, sponsored by Marvin, celebrates the best use of windows to elevate design and promote well-being. The Interior Design Award, sponsored by Stone Source, honors one interior space that stands above the rest. And the Exterior Design Award, sponsored by Porcelanosa, will be presented to one project with exceptional exterior design. Winners will be announced in the final episode.
Our quest to find New York's best architectural project continues in Sagaponack at the Beach House.
The Beach House is an incredible project because it was co-designed between the homeowner and the architect to help that homeowner live the way they wanted to live, which was really one with the outside environment.
Personally, I found the material choice too much of a contrast with the location. But there's a lot of positive about that project, obviously.
I think the differentiation of the ceiling planes in the kind of main living areas was quite impressive. The use of woods was very, very impressive, and the cabinetry.
I loved how they used materials from the outside of the building and transferring it into the inside, and it just felt like very peaceful or calming.
So Lee, this is a very modern house. And after driving through Sagaponack and seeing all the old style looking houses, it's a bit of a breath of fresh air.
Well, I like your emphasis on style because these are not old houses. This was not a village. These were potato fields. And so there's no reason to pepper it with these traditional looking houses.
So did your clients here, they knew they wanted modern housing right from the beginning?
We don't really start out by talking about style or appearance. We talk about how people want to live. You know, what are their days like? I like to start with the narrative. What's this house about? And these clients were very enamored of the beauty of Sagaponack, the light, the sea air. So we designed something where they would feel like they were living in the environment, not in an insular contained space. And so as a result, it's very transparent.
So the expression now, standing here looking on the outside of that process, we see two solid volumes and a more transparent center?
Well, yes, you know, we came up with this idea that the best way to live in the environment would be to be immersed in it. And you have a much better view of the ocean as well from up there. So we designed all the main living spaces as kind of a bridge supported by these two stone ends. And as a result of that, the landscape just flows right through from outside to inside, back to outside again. So here we are, we're up on the bridge. This is what I was talking about. You see how you're just immersed in the environment. You know, the house is not that wide, it's very long. I purposely made the bridge narrow enough so that you feel like you're out in nature all the time.
Right. And then the outside of the house comes inside with the materials.
Yes, this is a way of dematerializing the space. It's really made up of just a glass space with these interventions, the wood, the limestone, they flow from outside to inside. So it increases that sense.
And then talking of flow, it sounds like your conversations with the family were all about the flow within this living area.
Well, here you can see, because you've got the kitchen, the dining area, the living room, the music room, and they're all open to one another, but it doesn't feel like one big boxy space. Well, you know, when I started my design career in Manhattan, I designed a lot of lofts. And you know what they're like. They're big old industrial spaces. And it's wonderful to have that kind of space, but you don't want to just feel like you're in an undifferentiated box. So we developed these strategies, like this canopy, for instance. It makes the dining area a little more intimate, so it differentiates it from the sitting area. You're still in visual communication, but you feel like you're in a slightly different space. We use cabinetry, built-in millwork to define spaces. Sometimes we have changes in level, like we did down to the music room there. So all these things help to give each space its own character, but still be part of one larger whole.
And then I have to go back to something you said earlier, the 5 S's, which sounded very mysterious.
The sun, the sea, the sand, storm, sky. Before I knew it, we had 5 S's, and these became the 5 S's that we used to choose materials. I mean, if you look around, everything has this kind of beachy, calm, meditative quality. It's very serene. So here we are on the upper level, the top, the apogee of the entire experience. You walk through this walnut portal, this big pivot door, and you're in your own world. This is the sanctuary. It's kind of a microcosm of the public spaces. For the private space, we still have these same qualities of looking out in every direction, getting light in from every source, but it's its own space.
Right. And you've done the same trick of separating the space here with an intervention in the middle.
Yeah, we do it in a much more subtle way here because it's a smaller scale space, but these wooden pieces of millwork, you know, this is a backboard, a headboard for the bed, but they just help to give it a sense of, okay, now I'm in the sitting area, now I'm in the sleeping area. But, you know, in very simple ways, without a wall or a screen. Or
certainly nothing is getting in the way of this magnificent view.
Well, that's also a very good point. Nothing is high here because we want to direct your eye out to this. This is the Atlantic Ocean. This goes on forever. And when you're up here, it's almost as if, you know, you're on a ship.
And then that connection of indoors and outdoors, you extend through this marvelous suite.
Yes, I mean, as I said, this is its own world, so You've got a private terrace. No one else can see you out there. But in between the two, we have this screen porch sunroom. So remember, this is an all year round house. And you remember those 5 S's? Well, imagine being out here in a storm with a fireplace, watching the clouds and the rain and the snow go by. It's absolutely magical.
I think you've really succeeded at creating a modern home.
Well, you know, there's this misconception that we fight against all the time. Clients may think that modern architecture has to be cold, and there's just no truth in that. If you create the kinds of spaces that are comfortable scale, comfortable texture, use rich materials, you can create a place that feels every bit as warm and inviting and comforting as certainly a pseudo-traditional house. You know, I like to think of it as sensual modernism.
Arriving at the beach house, I saw a large modern structure. And now, after spending time inside, I take away the feeling of a family home.
Why let the judges have all the fun? Which architectural project do you think should win? Vote for your favorite in the KOHLER People's Choice Award. One entry will be chosen to win a Destination KOHLER experience at the American Club, the Midwest-only 5-star, 5-diamond resort hotel. For more information and to cast your vote, go to NewYorkByDesign.com or scan the QR code on the screen. Good luck.
Before our judges reveal our finalists for this week's episode, let's turn our spotlight to French lighting designer Hervé Descotte.
Many know the world-renowned lighting designer Hervé Descotte, but if you don't, you're sure to know his work. All of the big architectural names like Frank Gehry, Jean Nouvel, Bjarke Ingels, Peter Marino, they choose to work with Hervé because he enhances their work in the most beautiful and experiential ways. Hervé!
Oh my God. How are you? So happy to see you.
I'm so happy to see you. You brought me to the High Line.
And one of my favorites. I love the High Line.
Yes.
Been working on it almost for 10 years. We started way south on Gansford, and we just completed on 34th Street.
It's such a gift to our city, but I don't see any lighting. Where's the lighting?
Okay, that was one of the challenges, okay? And one of the wish, hiding all the light fixture. But they're here. I can even show you.
Where?
They're here.
Wait, I see.
The light is here. I think we're very lucky to come at this time where it's almost sunset. We will see this beautiful transition between day and night. The idea was to light not only a path, but a park. Very different than, for example, Central Park. The park is dark and the paths are lit. Here, everything is lit because of the nature of the High Line. And by the way, I would love to show you something. Let's come with me.
As the sun is setting, the park is coming aglow. But what about this project makes it one of your favorites?
Creating that moment where you can feel almost like it's like very peaceful. You are here on the High Line, you are in the middle of one of the most busy cities in the world. People are picnic here, okay? I think it's great, you know. Like
and
a nice evening for a picnic.
Yes. It's such a beautiful New York moment. Hervé, what is architecture but lighting to you?
First, you have to find your position in a complex process of architecture. Understanding the architect, understanding the program, understanding what we want to express. It has to be in full harmony with the spirit and the function of a space, of a building. You know, there's a lot of function to respect, but also there's an architectural element and there's an emotional element. And I think it's beautiful when a building can tell a daytime story and a nighttime story. It's very beautiful when the cycle goes on and it's not only on off. Love when lighting has a life. Okay, it change. And by the way, I have a great story, like Italy. I love, like it's one of my favorite moments in Italy, especially in Venice. In Venice, in every church. You walk in, if you are the first to walk in, usually it's dark. You have a €2 coin in your hand, and you have a box on the right side of the entrance. You put your coin, and then boom, the light is on. And then for 2 minutes, it's absolutely magical because everything reveals, and then boom, the light is off. Then
it's the reward.
It's great now, but also what I love, it's sometimes when the light turns off, it becomes magic. Because when the light is on, it's really bright and you see everything. Maybe you don't want to see everything. The light turns off, your eyes start to adapt to darkness, and it's a little bit more mysterious. I love that moment. I love those differences.
You've worked with so many different architects with different styles. How do you fit your work into the variety and diversity of theirs?
I have nightmares, okay? Multi-personality disorder, okay? I need to get into what they try to express, what they want the people to feel. So by listening to their vision, try to understand their idea behind their shape, behind their design, behind their architecture, really going to deeper, it has to be totally intrinsic to the idea and the purpose of the building.
So Hervé, between us, what's your favorite project, really?
I always fear that question, okay? Because, it's like choosing between child, it's impossible. And there's no small one, there's no big one, there's no fabulous one. They're all great, I think. Okay, of course, some are a little bit more, I would say, famous than others, some have name bigger than others, but doesn't mean I don't love all of them, okay?
You love all your children.
Exactly. So Eileen, I would love to take you to another place now where it's kind of the opposite of where we are now, okay? We talked for a long time about invisible light. Now let's go to somewhere else where it's totally the opposite.
Great. Hervé, this is my favorite view of New York City.
I'm very glad because, by the way, this is another of my projects. This beacon on the seaport, it's reflecting the dynamic of life inside of the building, but also it's really connecting the river and the city. This is totally the opposite of what we've seen before on the High Line, where all the light sources were totally concealed. Here is the opposite. We glow. It's all about visible light.
The lighting is the star here.
And this visible light also can change.
Can you control it now?
I think I could. I just need to make a phone call. Can we make it blue?
It's blue.
Now we have the blue. Let's make a wave passing by. Okay, let's get the wave.
So there's a wave.
Here it's a place for entertainment. You have concert on the roof, you have restaurant at the base, you have people playing around here on the deck. I think it's good to be visible and to express life and activity here.
It's quite a beautiful design, Hervé. Bravo.
Merci.
It's time to find out which projects from this episode have been selected by our judges to proceed to the final later in the season.
I'm quite pleased that this project has gone through the final. I mean, not only myself, but a lot of the other judges appreciated it.
The architect delivered in just an elegant way that reflects the homeowners at the end of the day.
I like this project. I'm glad it made it into the final.
What I loved hearing about is the attention to the experience of that area from inside in addition from outside.
And in the primary bedroom with indoor and outdoor space, what's not to be enviable?
Congratulations to the Beach House and 18th Street Triplex. Well done. Join us next time for more inspiring designs on New York by Design Architecture.
For more information on any of the projects featured in the series and to vote in the KOHLER People's Choice Award, go to newyorkbydesign.com.